Now, what are your ideal cruising destinations on the African coastline?
Well, I enjoy the South African coastline very much, including Madagascar, Mauritius. And I mean, if we look at our coastline, maybe starting from the coastline of Kenya, and you go all the way around, all the way up to Bombom Island outside Nigeria itself, and then perhaps into Ghana and other West African countries and islands, because then you start getting close to the Canaries and Ile de Sal and all that. So there are a lot of beautiful destinations that one can go to. Some of those countries, the challenge that we have is, what do you do once you dock and you want to go inland? And again, infrastructure, medical, security, attractions that you might, what other attractions are there? Because, you know, if we look at the themes, there's only so many safaris that you can offer and so many cultural villages. And so we need to find you know, additional attractions to add a variety to the destinations.
Would a cruise terminal here in Cape Town increase the amount of jobs?
Well, certainly, if you have a properly functional terminal that offers the services that are required by the cruise lines and by the guests, so you could have some shops, you could have some restaurants, you could have other services, maybe travel agencies, car rentals, other branches that, of course, you know, banking, that would offer jobs to the people that will need to man those services and shops.
Now, in South Africa's current economic state, it's no secret that the rand seems to be plummeting by the day. Would you recommend a luxury cruise in this kind of era that we're in right now?
Absolutely. I make my living out of selling cruises. But you know, cruising is a very recession-proof product. We do very well, of course, when the economy is good and people have money. And
because cruising is, I've never been on a cruise ship, but I hear it's very expensive.
No, it's not expensive.
It's not.
You could still do it from about 1,000 to 1,200 rand per person per day.
Okay.
Overseas. So that includes your accommodation, it includes meals, including room service on a 24-hour basis, unlimited quantities, you have all your entertainment, you have all the activities on board the ship, plus the added benefit that every morning you wake up into a new destination, you have your shower, you have your breakfast, and then off you go to explore that area. And you can do it on an organized basis by buying one of the tours, or you can just get off the ship and spend the day doing your own thing, or you know, taking one of the hop-on buses, which I do very often. So to experience, let's take Europe for example. You go to the Mediterranean. If you want to combine maybe Spain with south of France, you know, Monte Carlo maybe, Italy. If you think of the cost of the hotel in euros, all your meals in euros, and you're talking a minimum of 3 meals a day, maybe some evening entertainment, maybe entrances to various parks, your transportation from place to place. I mean, it is first of all a logistical nightmare to put all that together, opening yourself to a lot of risk for things that can go wrong, like delays and all that stuff. And at the same time, if you add the cost together, I can guarantee you it will far exceed the 1,200 rand per person per day. So,
what is a typical destination for South Africans to visit?
Well, the most popular destinations in South Africa, certainly the Mediterranean. Cruises, as I just mentioned, out of Barcelona, going the south of France, west coast of Italy, Rome, Naples, Florence. Then out of Venice into the Croatian coastline, the Dalmatian coast, and then down into the west islands of Greece. From Athens, of course, the Greek islands with Turkey and Istanbul, very, very, very popular. So that Mediterranean base is our #1 sailing destination. Then if we go beyond that, the Caribbean is very popular also with South Africans, especially over the December holiday period. We have a lot of families going, for example, to Disney, and then they combine it with a warm weather Caribbean cruise out of Miami or Orlando or Fort Lauderdale. And then the more adventurous start going maybe into Alaska, Southeast Asia. We have now a permanent presence of 4 or 5 ships out of Singapore, Hong Kong, and Beijing. So it's an area now that we kind of service very well. And then, of course, South America, the Amazon River, Tierra del Fuego down south, go all the way up to Chile. So, and what we see is with people will start, let's say, with a 7-night Mediterranean, a couple of times maybe, and then they will start looking at more further afield destinations. And the one thing I must say is that everybody who's been on a cruise becomes a repeat
Really?
cruise holiday maker.
How much does an average 7-day cruise cost per person?
So an average 7 day, you would probably look at about 9 to 10,000 rand.
And that's not including flights.
Not including flights.
Okay.
A nice package with flights, maybe 1 or 2 nights accommodation before the cruise, your transfers to and from the ship, you're probably looking from about 19,000 upwards.
And that's to a European cruise or a Southeast Asia or
Yes.
or the average.
Yeah, I'm
the
only
average
looking
price.
at Europe, but yeah, if you go, of course, to the Caribbean, you know, the flights are a bit longer and tend to be more expensive. But as a rule of thumb, you're looking at about 20,000 rand per person, as I say, on a fully inclusive basis. The only thing that's excluded in most cases are the drinks, especially alcoholic beverages. But there we have a specific packages. You pay an X amount per day, and then it's open bars.
Now, tell me, I have to ask you just before I let you go, what is your #1 cruising destination?
Well, I'm
the
Greek,
best
so
one in the world.
I come from Greece. So I came from Greece 25 years ago, so I'm a bit biased towards the Greek islands. But I think for the first-time cruises, the Mediterranean, and especially the Eastern Mediterranean, Venice, Athens, maybe Istanbul, the seas are warm, they're very calm, the people are very friendly, the destinations are very safe. The ships that service the area are very, very good. And of course, you have a very good mix of culture, of dining experiences. I mean, everybody's heard of the Mediterranean cuisine, a lot of history. So it is a nice combination of nature, history, and culture. And the one thing I must say also is that we cater very, very well for children and families. A lot of people think that cruising is not conducive for families, but the children's facilities and activities and entertainment we have on board, you seldomly find them even in the best resorts around the world, and they're included in the price.
Well, that's my sister went on a cruise with her kids, and she said she hardly ever saw them because the kids are off doing.
Yes, I think that's the ideal family holiday, when you don't see your children. But you know, happy children is happy parents, and they're safe. And of course, you can go out and explore, and the kids can stay behind, because you know you don't want to drag young kids through museums and in buses and all that. So it works exceptionally well for the whole family, and the family can be together when they want and go and watch a show together or have a meal together. And then each member can do whatever they like, which is available on the ship. So we cater a lot for multi-generational families, and we see that a lot in South Africa. So you have from the grandparents, or sometimes the great-grandparents, all the way down to grandchildren and great-grandchildren. They all get together on a ship, especially if they live in different parts of the world. It's a great meeting point, and then they have a fantastic holiday together.
Great. George, thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.